Welcome to Greg's Reel Revival. Today we're going to continue our reel servicing series with the Garcia Mitchell 300. This reel is essentially the same as the Mitchell 300, so if you've got one of these vintage reels, you can use this video to service it. First thing we're going to start with is we're going to undo the handle. We just turn this backwards and it will come off here. We'll set that right there. And we're going to take out these 3 side plate screws. When you're taking out side plate screws, be sure you have a screwdriver that fits in these really nicely. Don't get a screwdriver that's real flimsy and like a real narrow screwdriver and a wide slot. All that's going to do is mess up your heads on your screws, make your future servicing more difficult. So we'll start with taking out these 3 screws. I'll generally lay mine in the position that they come out of the side plate. So I'll lay them right down here on my paper towels in the same position. So when I go to reinstall, I know exactly where those screws go. Some of these have different length screws on the side plate, so that'll help you keep track of where they go. Okay, when I take those screws out, this plate just comes off. All right, take a look here. Here's how our gears go in. Really good place. If you're going to do this, if you're going to service your reel and you're kind of unfamiliar with it or uncomfortable with it, just take a picture. Okay, if you take a picture, that's going to allow you to know where those gears and things go. Okay, so we're going to start with this part here. Just take that off. There is a very small shim washer under there, so be sure to get that off there. And this gear comes right out here. So that's that side. Then we'll get the other side here. I'm gonna reach in, grab this gear here, and then we're gonna grab this gear here. They just come right out. All right. So that's what the inside of your reel looks like. This is what rides up and down and causes your spool to go up and down. This is going to come out with these. This should come out right now. There we go. Notice how that was oriented. And then if you needed to take this back plate off, you could take it off with these screws right here. But we do not need to do that. Tell you what, let's go ahead and do it since we're here. Those slots are bigger, so I'm going to use my little bit bigger screwdriver. Maybe I'm not, because it's not going to work. So that screwdriver still fits nice and tight in there. Alright. Got that one broken loose. Also got this one broken loose. Then with that, you'll see that just lifts out right there. All right, so there's the inside of your case. You'll see that right there. You'll notice there is your pinion gear that meshes with the main gear. So that's what the inside of your case looks like. We'll get that cleaned out here in just a second. Next thing we're going to do is take off the spool. So we're just going to push that little knob down in there. That spool and that shaft are going to come right out of there. Okay? Now, this is the bottom of your reel, the bottom of your case there. If that's dirty, you can take it out. This is a 12 millimeter nut. I've already loosened this here. So you just take that nut off. There's a little washer underneath it. And there is another washer underneath that. And then this whole thing just comes off right here. Now, there's a little notch right here that's going to fit in that little slot there. So there's really no way you can get this wrong. Okay, so that's the take apart of the reel. I'm going to go and I'm going to clean up all this, and then we'll get together or get back and we'll put it all back together for you. All right, welcome back. Parts are all cleaned. Now we're going to get this reel put back together. First thing we're going to do is we're going to attach the rotor to the case. If you remember, there was a shim washer that went on first. And then before we put the rotor on, we need to put some grease around here in these teeth. Kind of push it in there. Just easier for me to use a paintbrush. Just kind of push that in there. Like I said, you don't need tons. This is still going to share grease with the other gears in the case. So that's ready to go on there. We're just going to set that on. Next piece that goes on is our plate. You'll notice there is a little piece that sticks out there, and then there's a little opening in that shaft to the side. This piece just goes into that opening. Press that down and you're good to go. Then we're going to put in our first washer, put in our second little brass washer here, and then this is a little 12 millimeter nut. We're going to put that on top. And just tighten that down a little bit. Just make sure it goes on there smoothly. Make sure you don't have it cross-threaded. All right, we'll get that going most of the way. Now we're just going to tighten that up just a tiny bit. Don't torque on it too much. All right, all right. So we've got that part on there. Spin that around, it spins nicely. Okay, next thing we're going to put in is our bottom piece there. Remember, these tracks here go up top. So we're just going to set that in there. Then we're going to take these big screws here and get that secured in. Just to kind of help me hold things, I'm going to put a little bit of grease on this screwdriver. Use that to help hold that screw a little bit. And then, well, we're going to get that started. All right. Put that in. Same thing for the other one. Once we get those done, we'll just take a toothpick, a cotton swab, and we'll just dab off that little bit extra grease. All right, so we got that on there. Next thing we're gonna put in is our shaft. Okay, I don't like to put grease on these. I think it slows them down and creates a little bit too much drag. So I will just put just a tiny bit of oil on there. I'm gonna put it in, and this side's gonna be facing up. Okay, so that's gonna go right in that hole there. Flat side facing up, so it'll slide right down here. Get that oil kind of distributed along there. Okay, so we got the shaft in. We have to remember what's going to hold that shaft in there. Most modern day reels will have a crosswind block and a screw that holds that shaft in, but this is an older reel, probably 1950s, 1960s, so we don't have that. So this is the way this works. We take this mechanism here. You'll see on the back of it there's a little stud or a little post. That's going to go in that bottom hole right there. That secures this shaft in here so it won't be able to be removed. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of grease or a little bit of oil on the back of here, just to keep it smooth again. You know, not tons. I'm gonna set that in there, and I'm just gonna move it around. All right, so that post is inside that shaft, so we're good. Next thing I like to do to make this easier, see these three little notches here? I want this middle notch on each side, I want that even with that center post, okay? Because we've got to put this gear in here. This gear is going to turn and it's going to move that shaft up and down so your line lays on your spool correctly. So, easy way I like to do this is if you'll see right there, any one of these, this one right here points to the middle section of that right there. Okay, so I know if this is pointing right towards that screw, that I'm going to be lined up correctly, and I'll have my three notches will be filled up with those three little pieces right there. First thing I got to do, put a little bit of grease on it. It's a little much there, but we'll get it spread around here. All right. Just kind of push that in there a little bit, wipe the excess off. All right, remember, middle opening there aligned with that little post, and we want this middle little stud here to go right in that little opening. Easiest way, because we know that aligns with it. So we're just gonna put that right in there. All right, now how do we know if we've got that correct? If we've got that correct, when we spin this, that's going to go all the way up and down. If that gets off one notch, it won't go all the way up or all the way down. So that's how you'll know. Okay, so that's got the grease on it. We are done with this side. So now we're going to set that aside. Now we're going to work on our main gears over here. All right, got everything cleaned up here. First thing that's going to go on is our main gear. I'll put a little bit of oil on here because it's going to ride in there. And again, I don't really like grease because I feel like it bogs it down. All right, so we'll just put a little bit of that there. And now we're going to put grease on the outside of here and grease on that little inner gear there. Move this around where it's a little bit handier for me. Alright. So I try not to put too much, because if you do, it's just going to all squeeze out and be all over the inside of your reel. Now we'll kind of put some in here. Alright. Then I'll just take a little Q-tip here and wipe the excess off here. All right, so this is going to go right in here. This is your clicker mechanism, so you can actually turn this off right there. That'll move that out so this gear can go in all the way. You can turn it back on, and then you'll notice when you turn this, it clicks. All right, so let's work on the other ones real quick now. This is the top gear. Okay, we need to get grease in it first, but remember, we had I thought it was one shim, it was actually 2 shims that are going to go on this post. So we'll put those on first. And we'll just kind of put those down there. I'm going to also, like I did on the other ones, put a drop of oil there for the center post to make it run smoothly. All right, let's get this greased up also. Get the little center done here. Grease on there. We'll kind of hold that. And then we'll do the outside again. Kind of same thing. Just kind of push the grease down in there. All right, so that should be good. We're going to take this and we're just going to set it on top. And then we're going to make sure that the little teeth there mesh with these. We know they do because that's turning nicely. Okay, last thing we're going to do, put this final gear on here. First thing we're going to do is grease it up. And then we'll get a little bit on the inside here also. Again, we'll take that toothpick and just get most of the excess off there. All right, set that down there. That's going to mesh with this one right here. And you'll see we turn this, both those turn. So we're good to go. All right. Now, one of the trickier parts of this is how do we mesh this side with this side? If we flip this side over, all those gears fall out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to take this and just kind of hold them there, and you're going to kind of push them over there, just kind of like you're closing a book. Okay, so we want to try to get one of these screws in here. Once we get one of them in, that should kind of hold things. So that one's most of the way in. Get that one lined up there. That one started most of the way in as well. Get this final one started here. All right, so we'll go ahead and tighten that one down, and then we'll go tighten these other two down. Don't need to be super tight, but just hand tighten it, don't torque them. All right, so we're good to go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put on our handle. If this part is not spinning freely, you can actually take that screw out. It screws all the way into there. I'm not going to do that. What I do, just put a couple of drops of oil in there. Spin that that oil will work its way down in there and it will lubricate everything. So just wipe off the extra little bit there. Now we need to get this and get it started in a counterclockwise position. And we're just going to kind of hold that till it's tight. All right, so we have the reel going. It's going good that way with anti-reverse, and here you can spin it forward or backwards with no anti-reverse, and then it does have the anti-reverse. So we'll set that here for right now. All right, now let's turn our attention to the spool and the drag. All right, right here is, actually this is the original drag washer that came with it. Not sure what it's made of. Maybe it seems like maybe it's kind of made of some kind of fiber. So I am going to put a little bit of drag grease on there. Don't want it, you know, sopping off there, but I just keep it just a little bit moist. And then I'm going to set that right down in the middle. Next thing I'm going to put on is this piece here. This will help you adjust your drag easier or harder, however you need it. You'll notice there's a flat point right here, flat side right here. That will need to align with the flat side of the spool right here. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't, so let's see how that goes. Alright, got lucky today, so we're good. Alright, now I'm going to take this drag adjustment part right here, and I'm just going to lightly screw that on there. Take the reel, set that down in there, and then I'm just going to tighten that down a little bit. The spool is on there securely. This is tightened down. You can hold the rotor and twist that, and you can see that's got some good drag to it. If it's not enough, twist it a little bit more. If it's too much, obviously just lighten it. So we're good to go there. It's ready to go, up and down. Flip the bail wire. It flips over easily, so there's really no service we need to do there. Just for good measure, you can always put a couple drops back here, and just right in here, and move the bail back and forth, and then again it clicks right over, so we're good to go there. All right, so that is your Garcia Mitchell 300. Like I said, a very classic reel. This one is either a 1956 or a 1964. I don't remember which one. This reel is essentially the exact same as a Mitchell 300. So if you're looking to service that reel, you can use this video as well. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below. Please hit like and subscribe and let me grow my channel, or help me grow my channel. This is kind of a hobby of mine that I really enjoy, and I want to share it with other people. So help me grow my channel so I can keep doing this. And if you need any reels serviced, please contact me at gregsreelrevival.com and we can get that set up for you. Thank you all for your time. Bye-bye.